Kaboom! What's up, boys? How you doing?
What's up?
What's up, yo, and hello.
What's up, everybody?
What are you drinking, Joe?
So I'm drinking a beer from Bolero Snort Brewery in New Jersey. It's delicious. It's a guava pineapple sour. I'm probably gonna lose my man card for drinking it, but
Especially out of that glass like that.
You're right. The glass is actually worse.
Oh, the glass is worse.
Did they use that with authentic Hudson River water? Do they,
Yeah, that's what makes it special. Get that New Jersey flavor in it.
Yummy.
Are you a sour guy, Mike? Will you drink sour beers?
I don't know that I have. I would try it. I like beer, so I would try it.
Texans don't drink sour beers.
No, we drink stout beers.
I love stouts too. I like, all ends of the spectrum with beer.
So what Joe likes is if it says beer on it anywhere, that's he'll drink it.
All right, so we're in month 4 of our investment contest, which is crazy. It seems like just yesterday we were talking about doing this, and here we are 4 months in. Let's talk about the market as a whole first. What's kind of your vibe right now? If someone was asking you in the street, hey, what's the sports card market look like right now? What would you say?
Go first, Joe.
Yeah. So I guess the baseball card market's still doing really well. Very slowly moving up. The basketball card market, I don't have the heart to handle it. It's too much for me. I'm glad I'm not involved in it in real life. It's too many peaks and valleys. It scares the heck out of me. I think there's a lot of people that are in it, to buy and flip. And I've just, you see cards, and we saw this in February where the basketball cards were just going skyrocketing, especially the blue chip, goats. And now all those cards are dropping insanely. And you don't know where it's going to bottom out. But I do think that basketball cards are going to start to steady out a little bit. And then they'll do their, slow increase again. But overall, I think the market's doing, the overall hobby's doing really well right now. So, and I can't wait until card shows start opening up, and hopefully we go to the National, and that's going to be a huge, huge highlight for the year. So can't wait for that.
Yeah, come down to Dallas, man. We're having gigantic shows down here.
I can't relate to that.
Every other month. I mean, the last one in March was 605 tables.
Oh my goodness.
The National, just to understand, is only 650 tables. So you're talking pretty close to national size. Now, it doesn't have all the corporate sponsor areas, and it's not nearly as big in terms of square footage, but number of vendors, or dealers, it's getting up there, and they expect it to be in May. They're having another one. It's going to be even bigger. They're looking at changing venues so that they can continue to grow this show. And down here with the COVID restrictions, or I should say lack thereof, it is it's almost normal, not quite, but we're getting there.
What was the vibe at the show this last week or 2 weeks ago?
I wasn't there. I heard about it from other people that it was too packed. Like there were and you've seen, there's videos of all the big YouTubers were here doing videos, and I like watching Sasha T. Do y'all watch Sasha?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. He's here, every Dallas show now, apparently, because there's just a lot of money flying around, and lots of money flying around. Everybody's talking. What I heard was that everybody was talking that vintage baseball is the next thing. And that surprised me because it feels like vintage baseball has already gone up tremendously. I'm like, What do you mean it's the next thing? It feels like it's already killing me as a vintage baseball collector. And Joe, I know you do too. We're seeing it infect this frenzy is infecting the vintage baseball market like crazy right now.
I like you use the word infect, not affect.
That was intentional.
A disease.
No, that was intentional. It's an infection, and eventually infections go away. You get cured of the infection, hopefully, unless it's herpes.
Or it kills you.
Or it kills you. That's right.
Mike, I saw your video last night, and you seem like you need a hug. Like you seem like this is starting to like Ty picked it up. You're saying some kind of negative words like infect, and like I think you got to look at it at like the positive. It's going to be your cards they'll go up, but it's okay. Maybe sell a couple of cards that you don't need.
Blasphemy.
Don't even try. Let's not even go down this path.
No, I got a comment on that video that I thought was insightful, that maybe cards are just getting to where they should have been already, because think back like to the 80s, you could buy a raw Wade Boggs rookies, 83 tops were $30 a piece. Well, a few years ago, you could buy a PSA 8 for $15. Like that doesn't make any sense. And maybe now card values are just getting quote unquote back to normal. And if that's true, then I don't know that I like normal. I don't, as a buyer. Right. And I mentioned it, that you only realize the value when you sell things. And you're right, Joe. I mean, I have the choice to sell or not to sell. And,
I guess, I guess like I always look at it like if I can't afford this card, there's always something that is next in line for me. Like you can't like, is it stuck in your head that you need to buy certain cards? I think maybe what I don't get is that you have like these PSA registries that you're trying to fill, and that those in order to fill those blank spaces, it's going up and up and up and up, right? Where
yes.
For me, it's just I'm kind of like I don't care what I buy. I just kind of go, oh, that looks, that new shiny thing. I'm like looking all over the place. I don't have a focus like you do. Maybe that's why it's not hitting me as hard. Because I like if something's too expensive, I just go to something else.
And there's pros and cons to both sides of that, right? I think neither one of those are wrong. I am a little, my focus is just, it is wide. I mean, I have a lot of cards that I want, but
yeah.
It's I'm now, and I don't want to spoil it, but I'm going to kind of switch gears. I got something I'm excited about again in the hobby that's not going to be breaking the bank, and I'm looking forward to it. But I'm going to do that on my next Golden Age of Cardboard episode later this week on Bench Clear Media. Tune in for that.
Is there a reason that drawer's open behind you?
Yeah, because I was getting some cards out that I've been for my little project that I'm going to talk about in the next video, my Golden Age video, and so it's just open because I haven't put the cards back yet. That's all.
Okay, got it. Well, my only comment about the hobby in general is I do get the sense right now that it's feeling a little tired, a little bit of like hobby fatigue with certain people that I'm seeing that are pretty hardcore into it, are just they're kind of spinning their wheels a little bit, trying to figure out what to do. And
because they don't want to buy stuff, or is it because?
Well, yeah, I think it's like a weird spot to be in, right? It's really expensive to buy singles in a lot of cases. It's really expensive to buy wax. Really expensive to buy wax. I think the smart money, like Joe already mentioned, is they're starting to sell off some of these cards because realize, oh crap, we can't. LeBron can't keep going up 40% every month, which is why wax is so overpriced. But I think some of these people are just like, okay, what do I do now? Like, I'm kind of just tired of this.
Yeah, I've like breaking news for me. I've actually started to sell a couple of my cards, and and the weird thing is like I've enjoyed it. I actually I didn't think I would, but I've enjoyed the process of and what I've been doing is I've been selling the cards that I don't want. I have a lot of cards I don't need, and Like I sold an Adley Rutschman, a Bowman Chrome. I sold a Trout card that was like way off center that that didn't fit for me. And I don't know, and it may fit for somebody else's collection. And it sort of forced me to go, well, why not put a couple of cards up for sale? And it was difficult for me to do. But I've actually enjoyed the process. I didn't think I would. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So, Mike, maybe take a look. But of course, I think you already do that. You sell like your duplicates that you don't need. So, but I have definitely cards that I'm just like, why do I even own this card? And I'm like, I don't, it just sits in a shelf. So I'm like, why don't I let somebody else, put it in their collection? So I thought it's been fun actually. So
Ty's been selling.
That's very touching.
Ty's been selling.
I've been selling nonstop. I cannot believe the ridiculous prices. I'm keeping all my Mizzou Tigers, Michael Porters, and Bobby Witt Juniors, and all the Royal stuff we have. Of course, I keep that. But anything else, it's free. It's fair game, man. Get it out there. People want to buy it, take it.
I put up I put up about 30 cards on eBay, and every single one of them I thought was overpriced. And now I've sold like 10 cards, and I was like, every once in a while I'll check my phone, and all of a sudden there'll be a payment that I receive, and I'm like, who the heck bought an Adley Rutschman card for $200? What are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'll send it to you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, for years, the last 6 years, I've opened cases of Top Series 1. And this year I got my cases in, and I'm like, I look at what retail boxes and blasters sell for, and I'm like, why would I open this anymore? I was trading this stuff for years, but like blasters are selling for $38 a box on eBay. Like that's unheard of for flagship Series 1 baseball on release day. Like why let someone else take the risk. If they want to enjoy it, go for it. But there's really no upside at this point.
That is a weird thing. Like I feel I don't want to open up hobby boxes anymore because it's like, why, as soon as you open it, it's almost like, when you drive a brand new car off the lot and it goes down, whatever it's like 40%, it loses 40% of its value. It's like, as soon as you open that box, that you just lost like 40% of its value because you're not going to get it. I never hit anything. Like I do okay, but I never hit one of one, so I don't know. So a lot of times the last couple of hobby boxes, I bought them and I'm just like, I'm not opening them because it's just, maybe I'll resell it or hold on to it. So I'm sure there's a lot of people going through that too.
For sure. All right. Well, the point of this conversation tonight was, and we're going to do it now, talk about our investment challenge and the results 4 months in. And I feel like every month we start with Mike because Mike is pulling up the rear and it hasn't changed. Mike, you need to change your strategy. It sounds like you are, but let's talk. Let me show my screen. We'll talk about what you're doing, but what's been your vibe? What do you think? You think you have a shot at this?
I think I've been wrong a lot. Truth be told. No. I'm okay with what I'm doing. Let me get to my list here. I know you have it on there, but I want to see it better. So Soto, I'm going to hold. In fact, I'm going to buy more of him in a little bit.
So for people listening, you are up. Your initial investment was $25K. You're up to $41,000, but you're down from $43,000 last month. So
yes.
Your net change right now is 66.8%.
Which is, no one would bitch about that in a 4-month return normally, right? So it's not that it's done bad. My overall vibe is I'm switching to vintage baseball is basically what I'm going to do. I was wrong about football, at least for now, in terms of those prices. They've all come down big time. I've done well on the vintage baseball stuff, and that's, I own LeBron. I don't understand Luka. I don't understand, the guy just puts up a triple-double damn near every night. What's the deal with that? Why is this stuff just continuing to go down? Is it just because there's so much of it?
Yeah, I mean, he adds 100 to his pop report every week.
Basketball, just in general, over the last month has just plummeted. So, as you'll see in my, so
Yeah.
that might be part of it.
We'll get there, right? So overall, I'm not again, other than the football stuff, which I don't know if I'm just early on that or just wrong. Right.
So your 81 Montana's down 24%. Your 82 Lawrence Taylor's down 24%, and your 76 Peyton is down up 10%.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you struck out on the football.
I did. And again, I don't like if you would have bought those cards a month ago, like we hypothetically did, I wouldn't be selling them now. Right. I don't think anybody would be like, yeah, let's get rid of that stuff. It's junk. I don't think that at all, but I need to kind of make up some ground here. So my trades are pretty simple if y'all want to hear them.
Nah, we're good. Joe, you're up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm bailing on my LeBron now. And these, just so everybody knows, I priced all these on March 15th. We're doing this essentially a week later, so they might have actually changed even since then, but we get to do it based on March 15th values because that's when we just drew a line in the sand. So I'm going to take my $8,000 for the LeBron, and I doubled my money, and I'm happy with that. And I'm getting rid of the Montanas and the Taylors. I'm going to keep the Peyton for some weird reason, but that's what I'm going to do. And that gives me a little over $10,000. And I'm going to buy a 1951 Bowman Willie Mays rookie card PSA 4 for $10,000. So,
wow. Okay.
I'm exiting LeBron, exiting Montana, exiting Taylor, buying Willie Mays.
What's the eye appeal on the Willie Mays?
Well, I have to go with the last one sold, and it sold for exactly $10,000. It's okay. I mean, I wouldn't mind having it in my collection.
Yeah, that's.
But
I wouldn't mind adding a PSA 4 for $10,000.
Here, I'll let me see if I can share my screen real quick, and y'all can. Here's the one. It's because it sold yesterday when I was doing my picks. I did them today. So there's the Maze that sold yesterday for $10,000.
That is a sweet card, man.
I just think Maze is still undervalued. It's because he's just always compared to Mantle.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know. So that's my trades. Easy peasy.
Interesting. Okay. What do you think about it, Joe?
I like it. You guys will see. I had a really bad month, and I think Mike's doing what I'm doing, which is getting back to what I know. I tried to dabble into stuff I didn't know very well, and I got burned. And so Mike's going back to the wheelhouse, which is what he knows, which is vintage baseball. And I'm going, you guys will see in a little bit, I'm going to go, do what I know best, which is modern baseball. And so, you definitely can't go wrong with a Willie Mays and a PSA 4. I think that Willie Mays and some of the, like Babe Ruth and Hank Aaron, I unfortunately, Mike, I do think that those cards will probably still go up even more. I think that there's, when you have a Michael Jordan PSA 9 where there's, I don't even know what the pop is on those, going for almost $40,000, which by the way was going for $70,000 at one point, now going for $40,000, and you have a Willie Mays in a PSA 4 going for 10. Something's wrong with the world. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. Like I know Jordan is the GOAT, but there were so many of those Jordan rookies printed, and there's so many PSA 9s, And I bet you if you took the pop report of a PSA 4 Willie Mays and compared it against a Jordan PSA 9, it's probably not even close. The Jordan's got way more. And not to mention the Willie Mays is from 1951 versus 1986. So I don't know. Something doesn't make sense to me, and it's been bothering me personally with the way that values are for some of the bigger, the Willie Mays, the Hank Aaron, the Babe Ruth, the Lou Gehrig's. Who knows if the market will ever kind of adjust to that? That's the only thing. I don't know if in the next couple of months that the market will recognize this difference, but eventually it's gonna catch up. Those big cards from the 50s and the 30s should be worth just as much, if not more, versus anything from the 80s, in my opinion.
Now, you said something that I think is incredibly, you may have just said it out of just thinking about it in the moment, but I think people should listen to what you just said, which is,
Yep.
I'm buying what I know. And I think a lot of people coming in the hobby today are getting out of their wheelhouse, or they don't know anything yet, and they're just buying, willy-nilly, just not really understanding, like, well, this is what it says on eBay, I'm going to go pay for it. They don't know what it traded for 6 months ago or a year ago or 5 years ago. And I think the buy what you know is a great piece of advice just in general for hobbyists. Like, just stay in your lane, man. Just, you know what I mean? Go ahead, Ty.
Literally, when you were saying that, Joe, I wrote down swim in your lane. Like, that is, I've thought about this the last couple of weeks too. All these new collectors coming in are trying to learn everything, boil the ocean. That key takeaway tonight is learn something and stick with it, make it work, and then go learn something new. I think
that's a great piece of advice, Joe. Even if it was just off the cuff and totally not meant to be that, I think people should hear that and take it to heart. Like, stick with what you know. So,
and I think you'll end up enjoying your collection a lot more when you buy what you're passionate about. Because otherwise you're going to end up buying. You're going to end up owning a bunch of stuff that you don't really even want. And that's if I'm going to get burned on a card, like let's say I spend a lot of money on a card, I overpay. I'd rather overpay on a Don Mattingly rookie. You know what I mean? Because you guys know I'm a huge Johnny Baseball fan. If I get burned on a Don Mattingly card, okay, fine. I don't even care. I don't care if the Mattingly card goes from $5,000 to $1. To me, it's priceless. So, and then I could end up buying a card, of some guy that I don't have any connection to. And that just sucks. So, and so, from personal, what's important to you, as well as, buying the right things, buy what you know. So that's.
But also, I think you have a lower likelihood of overpaying for a Mattingly because you're intimately familiar with his market, with his cards.
Yep, true.
You're because you're buying what you know, right? And it's just, I think, a wise piece of advice. You sage, Joe Silver Jackify. You are a sage.
Such a sage.
Every once in a while, there's nuggets.
Well, let's see how much of a sage he is. Let's look at his portfolio. All right, let me share my screen here. Joe, okay, so you've been leading the pack months 1 through 3, but you had a pretty bad month. Let's talk through it. Here you go. All right, so you're down to 45,000. I think you were right at 50,000, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
Which is still, you're up 81%, which is incredible.
Well, according to that, I was at 60,000.
You were at 60,000 last month.
Gosh, yeah. Okay, so you lost 15K in 1 month.
Oof.
Yep.
Shoot.
Wow.
Damn.
We told you, Joe, last month you should have just sold everything and made us catch you, and you would have still won. You should have listened to us.
That wouldn't have been fun, though.
No, it wouldn't.
You want to talk us through it? What's up?
Yeah, so I obviously my big losses were the Shaq and the Tim Duncan. I went with guys that my philosophy, I guess, going into that was I looked up the top 10 greatest basketball players of all time, And I said to myself, okay, well, Jordan and Kobe and LeBron, their cards have gone, crazy sky high. And so the thought process was, okay, well, who's next in line? Who else is in that top 10 greatest players of all time? And I go, Shaq, obviously, everyone knows Shaq. And I said to myself, Tim Duncan, one of the most underappreciated players of all time. So I went ahead and went all in on Shaq and Tim Duncan, and man, oh man, did I pay! 48% loss on the Shaq and a 33% loss on the Duncan in 1 month. So I was wrong about that. The only thing I'll say is I do have an interest in those two cards, and I haven't bought them in real life, so I was actually kind of happy in a way to see those cards go down, because as those cards go down, it's less money that I'd have to pay if I do end up buying either of those cards. They're not on the top of my wish list, but they are somewhere on that list. So that was the only saving grace there. So I guess in terms of what I'm going to do this month, I kept it simple. So the problem is the Shaq and the Duncan dropped so much that and I mentioned earlier, I want to focus on what I know, but I just can't. I can't sell at that kind of a loss. I just can't do it. So I got to ride it out at this point, and if it keeps going down and it ends up ruining my my performance here, it is what it is. But I can't sell at a 48% loss. I'm hoping that it'll some of these will turn around. So. What I decided to do was actually sell the Juan Soto Gold for $4,500. My thought behind that with the Juan Soto is that I saw, at least in base, and again, I'm focusing on what I know. So I'm going to sell what I know. So what I know is that with baseball, I saw a nice spike in Juan Soto, Acuna, Tatis cards, which Tatis, by the way, got hurt today, which sucks.
No way.
Yeah,
he did that yet.
Shoulder injury. Yeah, I think they're saying it might be a minor injury, but anytime you hear shoulder, that's not good.
No kidding.
He's had some injuries already, so that scares me. But anyway, Soto's had all three of those guys have had nice increases over the last couple months. Don't let the negative 10% fool you. I ended up overpaying for the card by accident through this process. I ended up just bidding some, using a bad comp for this. So even though it's down negative 10%, the card when I bought it was at 4,000, so it's actually up 500 since I bought it. So I'm going to sell it at 4,500, and I'm going to turn that into players that I think are undervalued. And I talked about it on my video today. If you guys want to watch it, I basically did a breakdown of the 25 best hitters in baseball and broke it down by guys that I think are undervalued based on their price points. So what I'm doing is buying a bunch of lower end established stars. So, for example, I'm going to buy 3 of the 2011 Topps Freddie Freeman cards at $240 a piece. The reason why I like him, he just won an MVP. He's only 31 years old. He's got 4 All-Star appearances. He's got that MVP. His pop on his rookie card is at 700, which is incredibly low. You look at, by the way, the Juan Soto, just the base tops, not the golds, but the base has 16,000 by comparison in terms of population. You look at Freddie Freeman has 700, and the Juan Soto has 17,000. And Freddie Freeman's accomplished a lot more than Juan Soto or any of those guys. 4 All-Star games, 1 MVP. So I'm going to buy his rookie card, his PSA 10 rookie, at $240, 3 of them. Then I'm going to buy 3 Corey Seegers, 3 of the 2016 Topps Corey Seager at $175 a piece. I love Corey Seeger. The guy is clicking at the right time. So if you guys may have noticed, he was the NLCS MVP. He was the World Series MVP, and he's been lighting up spring training. He's got 6 home runs, 13 RBIs in spring training. And sometimes, things just click for certain players. He might just be healthy. And I just love the way he looks going into this season. And for $175 to get 3 of his rookie cards, a guy that could very well win MVP on a great Los Angeles Dodgers team, I'll take it. I'm going to buy 3 of the Cody Bellinger rookie cards. About a year ago, his rookie card was about $350. Now it's down to $180. So I'm going to buy 3 at $180. PSA 10. People forget that Cody Bellinger is only 25 years old.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's still really, really young, and he has an MVP under his belt. He has a couple of All-Star appearances. 25 years old, and also has that World Series championship. But I could see him really picking it up this year. We'll see how it turns out. I'm going to buy 4 Anthony Rendon rookies at $105 a piece. Anthony Rendon, MLB did their top 100 right now, and Anthony Rendon was number 8 on that list. And there are only 400 of his PSA 10 rookie cards. And for $105, the 8th best player in baseball just seems really low. Good luck getting, the 8th best player, Prism Basketball for $100, their rookie card in a PSA 10. It's not going to happen. That's only available in baseball. But Anthony Rendon, number 8 in all of baseball, I'm going to buy 4 of those. And then finally, I'm going to buy 3 Mookie Betts rookies. I still think Mookie Betts is really undervalued. The Trout has been trending down lately, but the Trout rookie card is still like a $4,600 card in a PSA 10. Mookie Betts is the clear number 2 player in baseball right now, and his rookie card in a PSA 10 goes for about $790. So it's 6 times less than the Mike Trout, and to me, Mookie Betts is the clear second best player in baseball right now. And and so I'm picking that up at $790. So I'm buying 3 Freddy Freemans, 3 Corey Seagers, 3 Cody Bellingers, 4 Anthony Rendons, 3 Mookie Betts, all their tops base cards in PSA 10.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
This is all fresh in my head because I just did a video on it earlier today. So
no kidding.
Yeah.
Well, holy moly, I have a lot of thoughts on this. Let me just say a couple. First off, in regards to your performance, your football cards actually didn't even perform as bad as what happened to your Barry Bonds, your Magic, and your Mookie over the last month. Like your Barry Bonds is down 110% since last month. Your Magic's down 120% since last month. That's what's crazy. It's like you just had peak prices last month, and then some of those.
Yeah, but that's what we're seeing. Like
everywhere.
That's what we're seeing everywhere.
Yeah,
cards that peaked. All these cards that I own that peaked are now getting their correction. I don't necessarily after they get their correction. It's almost too late sometimes to sell. So that's sort of my thought is like I don't want to sell after the correction. I'd rather sell while they're selling for as high as they're going to sell. You don't want to sell low, right? So
yeah, but you still made a lot of money on those cards.
True.
Either way,
still up 100-something%.
Right. 81% over 4 months, like you said, Mike, is nothing to sneeze at. I think any anybody that manages funds for a living in the stock market would take 81% over 4 months any day of the week. So I don't feel that bad about it.
I love your Freddie Freeman. That's my favorite pick of the ones you just added. I think it's grossly undervalued, and the pop report's so low. And I just love the guy. I think he's one of my all-time favorite players that's still playing.
It's funny that you say that, Ty, because you didn't watch my video. I had him as number 1. He was my number 1.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I looked at 25 of the best hitters in baseball according to MLB, and I ranked them in terms of whether I thought they were overvalued or undervalued, and I had Freddie Freeman as my number one guy.
Sweet.
So
I think I like the bets play. There's a difference between baseball good and hobby good. And, you can be baseball good, but not necessarily have this love in the hobby. And I have never understood why Mookie Betts, he's a great player. He's played in 2 huge markets. How can he be so relative to Trout? If you go Trout's number 1 all around baseball player in major leagues, nobody would argue that. Then you've got, I think Betts is the clear number 2. Because he's been around a little bit longer than the Sotos and the Acuna guy. He's got more skins on the wall. MVP, World Series now. 2, actually, right? He won one with the Red Sox. And so, is that right? I think I'm right.
Did he win one with the Red Sox?
He must. I'm just assuming he did. Although I made that assumption with Bryce Harper earlier today, and I got real comments.
Luckily, I can look because I don't want to. But I still think I love the because you already have a Mookie bet. Did you sell that? I can't remember. Didn't you have a Chrome bets?
He kept it.
You still do.
I didn't realize I already had a bet, so I guess I own another one. Now I own 4 Mookie Betts. I just think he's, if you compare him to Trout, it's like you said, he's the clear number 2, and if it's 6 times less, I just think that there's definitely some room for growth there with that card, and the pop is way less than Trout. It's like 2,300 on the pop, so it's actually about half of what the Trout is in terms of population. So it's less in population and 6 times less in value.
Wow.
So Betts did win a World Series in 2018 with Boston. They beat the Dodgers in 5 games. And by the way, Betts is only 27.
Crazy.
Right.
He's got his prime years are still in front of him, assuming health matters and all that stuff. But 28 to 32 is peak time for baseball players. So he's right in it. He's about to hit it.
Yeah, I might have to buy some of these in real life because I actually don't own the Betts rookie. The only guy that I own, I own Cody Bellinger and Anthony Rendon. I don't own Betts, Seeger, or Freddie Freeman in a PSA 10. I do own Seeger and Freeman, but not in a 10.
I have a Freeman at PSA right now, and I have a couple of DJ LeMahieu's at PSA right now.
LeMahieu's rookie in a PSA 10 is going for $350.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's really high because he re-signed with the Yankees. So his card went way up.
And that we all know that's a death sentence for your career, re-signing with the Yankees. But all right, Ty, you're up, man.
Oh, well, first off, what do you think would look better on me? Michael Porter's Jr.'s jersey or a Bobby Witt Jr. jersey? I'm trying to figure out what authentic jersey I should be looking at.
Hey, we just saw from Joe that it ain't over till it's over. Let's not.
This is so over.
Watch Mike end up winning this whole thing.
Yeah, right.
I only have to be ahead in 1 month, and that is on June 15th. That's it.
Yeah, so what are we at here? This is March, so April, May, right? We're doing it to May?
Or May. Yeah.
Yeah, we have 2 more of these. Okay, so let me show what's up with mine. So I didn't necessarily have a great month. I did increase in value, but I think it was just like I didn't lose as much as Joe. Like that's how I survived. Yeah, I'm not going to change much, honestly. I didn't have a lot in a couple like the super high-end prospects, like Chumo Kiki and Nikhil Alexander Walker. I'm just going to keep the money there. It's a few $100. I killed it with Steph Curry and with James Harden. Just really good timing on those 2 guys, thankfully. And then my Porters have finally come back to be somewhat realistic. I was down 30% last month. Now I'm only down 10% after adding some last month. I'm feeling really good. The Zach Levine was I felt really good about that last month, adding that, and that paid off big time. I think right now is probably the best time to get some of the NBA guys that you think are going to do well in the playoffs. Like week before NBA season and about 2 weeks after, or week before NBA play All-Star game, and then 2 weeks after the All-Star game are like historically some of the worst times for NBA cards. So right now is a good time to start loading up. So I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to actually sell my Steph Curry and I'm going to sell my James Harden, which frees up, almost $24,000 for me to spend on cards, back to my initial 25K almost. And I'm going to put it into 4 guys. I'm going to drop a couple grand, and I'm going to put it into the 2018 Topps Chrome Shohei Ohtani.
Wow.
PSA 10, 175 each. So I'm going to put $1,700 in the Shohei. I think he is the most underrated player heading into the season right now.
He's having a good spring too.
He looks great. Both sides of the ball. He looks really good.
Till his second start when he blows his, has to have another Tommy John surgery.
My other baseball player is going to be Jock Peterson. I feel like him going to Chicago is going to change things. He looks really good in spring. 2015 Topps Chrome number 129. Number 129. The running version of him is PSA 10. It's $80. So I'm going to grab 20 of those for $1,600 in a Jock Peterson. And then I'm going to go big on the 2013 Prism Giannis Antetokounmpo. I feel like he finally has pulled back in price enough to where a PSA 10 you can get for $3,400. Like that was a $7,000 card heading into the season. And I feel like right now with LeBron hurt and a lot of uncertainty in the West, this might be the year Giannis makes it to the finals. And it could be a really good opportunity. So I'm going to buy 4 of those. So I'm going to drop, what is that? $17,600 into Giannis. So actually that could be the thing that kills me the most if Giannis does terrible. And then I'm going to actually add 2 more of my Connor McDavid's, the 2015 Upper Deck Canvas Young Guns PSA 10s that dropped 12% since I bought them. I'm going to grab 2 more at $2,012, or it's about $2,020. So I think I didn't do all the math, but I think it leaves like $400 or $500. I'm just going to leave it. But that's what I'm doing. Getting rid of the big dogs in my portfolio.
I like how our portfolios just keep getting bigger and bigger. We started off with I think we were allowed to buy 5 cards, and we just keep selling and buying. But yeah, I love Ohtani having a huge spring. We'll see how it turns out for Ohtani. I don't know with him. It's I felt like I've looked forward to him breaking out so many times, and he sort of let me down so many times. But now, one of my buddies about a year ago was saying, "Oh man, I should have sold my Ohtani," and he just sold it for he was upset that he didn't sell it for 400. He was able to sell a blue card for 1,100. So his cards are hot right now. I just hope that he, for your sake, that he continues, doing what he's doing, because if he does, his cards will go to the moon. But if he kind of, it seems like every time he starts getting hot, he gets another injury and has a setback. But with the Giannis, I think that's a great call. That's what I always look for, at least for me, is if you see a card like that. That was my thought process with Bellinger. If the card was going for $350, that means to me that collectors are willing to spend that much. And so now that the card's at 180, that seems like an opportunity. So that sounds like it might be a great opportunity for Giannis if his cards used to be double and now it's like half of that. And it sounds like he has a great opportunity. So that might be a really good call.
I like you're getting back to your bread and butter too, Ty, a little bit. Yeah. I think we've all done that, and we don't talk about this before the show. So we've all kind of done that as we've ventured out into the world of cardboard and going, wow, that's it's not so easy to just pick cards off a dartboard and hope it all goes up. But what do you think caused the harden? I mean, I was shocked at that rise. I mean, you bought it for not the 2,900 it shows there. You actually bought it even cheaper than that, because 2 months ago is when you bought it for $700. I'm sorry, 2,200.
Yep.
And it's an $8,500 card now. What do you think's caused that? Realization that he's that good, or what?
Well, he has a legitimate shot at winning the finals now. I mean, that's a big deal.
Right.
And I mean, that 2009 set was hard to get PSA 10s in. And it's I just think people realize, like, holy crap, we have a top 5, potentially a top 10 all-time scorer in the NBA playing right now. And we can go out and grab his cards. And there's I don't even remember the pop report, but it's low, especially compared to everything we see these days. I just think people gravitated towards it.
That is incredible. So, I'm just looking at that now. The James Harden went from 2,900 to 8,500.
Yes.
In the same time period where my Shaq and the Duncan cards went down 48%. Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, I guess I didn't say this because this will be on the podcast version too. So I ended the month at plus 98% at 49,653. So no one has cleared 50,000 except for Joe so far.
At any point, right? At any point. But again, we're talking about such a short time frame. You're up 100% in 4 months. That's pretty good. And again, none of us have done poorly. Right. I think the overall takeaway is cards have gone up. I mean, you'd have to be really bad at picking cards to not have made money during this frenzy, but we are seeing some softening. I mean, there's no question that you look at these bigger cards and Joe's and I'm buying the GOATs of football, Lawrence Taylor, Joe Montana, Walter Payton. Those didn't do great. LeBron in basketball. We haven't done a ton of football lately just because we all know, in terms of modern football, because we know it's off season and that's just not where the money's to be made. And even Joe's big basketball cards have, some of the Magic Johnson and he still made a lot of money, but they've come down big time from where they were. Right. So it's just, we're seeing some softening. And I think that, I hope it continues for both of you guys' portfolio so that I can pull from the rear at the last minute.
Well, as the oldest guy in the room, I don't know if you should be the one talking about softening.
Or anything about pulling from the rear. I don't think that's a good idea either.
On that note, you guys good?
I'm good. I'm excited about.
I think that's a great way to
It's
end
fun to see it. Yeah, that's a great way to end it. But it is fun to see it, to see every month, because we don't know what each other is going to do before the show. We don't know. They don't know until I email them the spreadsheet how their portfolios have done, and it's fun to see every month.
By the way, thanks for putting all the work into that. I know that's not.
Hey, by next month we'll have baseball season starting.
That's true.
Woo, woo, woo.
Yeah, that could change things considerably. Yeah. All right, boys. Good stuff until April.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Peace.